Hey StarCrafters, Wookie here, and I'm going to show you another one of my ladder games. Now I promise that eventually I will cast games that I'm not in. I'm just practicing here, trying to get up to speed on the casting of games and whatnot. So hopefully eventually on my channel you'll see some games featuring some players who are actually good. But for now, sticking with my Bronze League theme, I figure I have a pretty good resource of Bronze League level play right here on my computer, so I may as well cast those. So we are on Metalopolis, and I of course am Wookie. I have a pretty bad Wookie impression, so I'm not going to try to growl at you or anything like that. But, you know, Chewbacca, my college drinking buddies gave me that nickname years ago because I'm a big hairy man. Here my opponent is XxThirdxX. I'm going to call him Third. And we both open up pretty standard here. I like to see no pylon forge. That makes me warm and happy. He did get a probe in. Now, during game, I remember I lost this probe. I had no idea what happened to it, so I'm going to watch it right now and see what happened. Sneaks behind there. Did I kill it? Wow, I killed it. That would be why I couldn't find it. I actually spend a lot of effort running around my base looking for a proxy pylon because I thought I lost that probe. So what do we got up? The units tab. Let's look at the production tab there so you can see what's going on. I go gateway into Psycore. I'm chrono boosting out probes, but I know I stop at some point. One gas for now, and I've been working on a concept build. I say that like it's super cerebral. It's probably been played out by people who know what they're doing and not used because it turns out it's lame. But the idea is in a PvP matchup, since my opponent is likely to 4-gate me, because I get that a lot, that I 4-gate as defense and go 4-gate and then robo with a forge on one base, so that I have access to a lot of units if I need them, and it counters most, and I hate the word counter, but it is a solid defense against most Protoss likely openings, like a 4-gate. If I get 4-gated, I have a lot of units and the defender's advantage. If I get Void Ray rushed, I've got Stalkers, a lot of units. I get the Robo Base, so I should have an Observer up by the time a DT rush would come. So anything but a Cannon rush, which you have to detect and still combat the normal way, would be fine. But the idea is to open with a 4-gate. You can see we're at 8:30, and here, this is the guy messaging me in game, because I told him I might cast this, but that was kind of a spoiler, wasn't it? Wow, I may have to redo this. We'll see. I'm going to train of thought, just jump the tracks. He did 4-gate me. We haven't spent much time in his base, but he did a very sentry-heavy 4-gate, and you can see here he throws down force fields and completely neutralizes my zealots, so that was kind of a bummer. Looking at the units tab, I noticed the production tabs that neither of us are doing anything right now. That's so blinders. I believe that was my Bronze League lesson 3. So we can tell a little something about me there. I have ideas, I just can't execute. Looking at the units tab for the comparisons, you can see the unit distribution there. I did make more probes. Like 19 is a pretty standard 4-gate. I noticed that his was a little slow. He was about a minute slow on it, which gave me a little opportunity to build up. But I knew if the 4-gate came that I would get a warp in and use some force fields to kind of negate the rush. I did see it coming with my observers, so that was good. And I do a decent job here of not moving my stalkers into attack. What the heck are you doing, dude? You drag a box. There you go. Alright, so that is cleaned up. And then I think I make the train on over to my opponent's base. And meanwhile, I start putting Immortals in. Of course, Immortal is is rallied to the observer point. That would explain why I found an immortal out there in the middle of nowhere later in the game, because I forgot to move that rally point. That's funny. And then I go to... Oh, that's not it. I do put a building over here, and I'll spoil it for you. It's a Twilight Council. I took this watchtower and looked around, looked for a second push, and then suspected that he must be expanding since I didn't see any more units. And here's a rookie mistake. Don't do this. Don't get vision on a building on the edge and click attack on it, because that will send your zealots around to the ramp to get executed as they march on a move click, especially when the ramp is force fielded there. So Third gets a bunch of free kills, and I'm a noob, but I did take out his robo, so I guess losing a handful of zealots is worth losing, or worth taking out that robo. He's going to have to replace that if he wants to get in the game. And Third was a little light on the probe production in this game. You can see I'm ahead of him, even though his expansion is way ahead of mine. So he's got 21 probes on 2 bases, and I've got 24 on mine. I would really like that to be 30. 30 is, of course, 6 probes on gas and 24 on minerals, which is 3 per mineral patch. There's 8 mineral patches, and 3 probes means that each mineral patch is being constantly mined, which is ideal. Things like leaving a probe just sitting there next to a pylon is kind of nubby. Get out of the habit of that. And this is the point in the game where I'm not sure what my opponent is doing tech-wise, even though like I have an observer here, which I could have flown in and looked for the star base or starport. But I'm thinking he's either massing up ground gateway units with Colossus or Immortals, or he's going Void Rays. So in the event that he's going Void Rays, I want to put down a couple cannons, so I do that. I'm not really sure what this one is for. I think this one is, my thinking here was Observer, because that's a likely path for an observer to take. So I would put a cannon there, and it can also shoot units that run past here. So I believe that's why I chose that. I again use some cannons here. I'm trying to get out of the habit of just throwing cannons down all the time, and to make myself feel better. They're like my security blanket, and I've mentioned that in previous videos, I know. But I just think they're a good idea, especially because I don't want to make a lot of observers, and if Dark Templar come or these observers come, it's nice to have those detectors laying around. And we're going to follow this detector for a second because of this observer, because I believe it gets a little too close to the cannons. Yep, there's no safe spot there between these 2 cannons, and it gets taken out. So I don't know if that was worth 300, 450 minerals, but so be it. And you know what? I realized I slowed this down when there was some action, and then I never sped it back up, and we've had a pretty lengthy period of inaction here. But is this the Twilight Council? No, that's another pylon. I was probably supply blocked. I still find I'm getting supply blocked several times a game, which is bad. Okay, don't want to get supply blocked. But my opponent also saturating his second very slowly. Queued up a lot of probes here, but he's only got 27 overall. You can see I've got 38. So I was a little bit more attentive to probe production. I did transfer some off. Of course, you do that because you want your most recent base and the one that's farthest away from your main mining the most, because theoretically it's going to have the most minerals at it and is going to be the hardest to defend. Once you start hearing that mineral field depleted, say if you've got 30 probes and you haven't expanded or you haven't moved any away. As soon as you hear your first mineral field depleted warning or notice, that means you're oversaturated. You've got an extra 3 probes running around looking for a spot to mine, and they're not going to find one. So you want to make sure to transfer your additional drones away so that they're probes, so that you can keep your bases properly saturated. Now here's a big play. We have Colossus We got Guardian Shields, we got Force Fields, we've got Mass Destruction. You can see Blink just finished for me, and I eventually figure that out. I'm trying to focus down these Colossi as fast as I can. There's the Blink going in. We've got, looks like the range upgrade for these guys, because that seemed like a long distance. And here's a little mismanagement. We got, okay, go over here. Immortals were like, guys. So the Stalkers finally get the Blink in and jam up the ramp. In this case, the Immortals proved too much for the Colossus. I really like Immortals in PvP, guys. That just the hardened shield, they can take a ton of damage. They're really effective against gateway units, in my experience. So I try to mix those in. I favor Colossus in PvT and PvZ, but in PvP I really like the Immortals. I don't know if that's based on any sound mathematical function of damage versus hit points or whatever, but it could very well just be a personal preference based on nothing but aesthetics or my own preconceived improper notions, but I really like it. So there was that. We can see my opponent was almost mined out his main. He finally got, he's only got 17 probes now because I killed a bunch of these. You can see late game we also each took a third, but ended up proving irrelevant. So there was my first go at a 4-gate defense. You can see this time in my last game versus Dunrabbit, I failed to make additional gateways, and this time I remembered to do that, so that was good. Those went up after my expansion. But so there's a look at a PvP defense that worked out for me. I know the opponent did not throw in a true 4-gate. He was about a minute late on it. But I think at about the 7-minute mark, I was ready for it. Whoa, misclick. We're going to jump back to the 2-minute mark. And getting that Robo and that Forge and setting up the defenses the way I did, I think I was well prepared for a 4-gate rush or any other kind of rush that might have come along. I just want to zoom ahead here to 4 minutes and see, or to 7 minutes and see exactly what I had going on. Because 7 minutes is your typical 4-gate timing. So let's see where I was. I'm not nearly as cool as I just told you I was. I might be a little bit of a liar. But I did have warp gate technology. I would have had 4 gates worth of units I could warp in here. My opponent already had his 4 gates up, but he did get a Robo. Did he have double gas? Okay, so he didn't truly 4-gate me anyway. But perhaps I need to work on this just a little bit more. But I like the way it worked out in this game. 4-gate defense, add a Robo, add a Forge, and be prepared for a 4-gate and other possible starting strategies. So there you go. Thank you, Third, for a good game, a fun game, entertaining game, and thank you guys for watching. Thumb it up if you like looking at Bronze League level play. If you're a mean, cruel, soulless person who hates the world, go ahead and thumb it down. And then go kick a puppy or whatever it is you guys do. I can't imagine anyone would actually do that, but if you don't like it, thumb it down. And subscribe, that would be cool. And leave a comment even, because I like logging in and seeing that I've got some comments. And that is that. Good luck, have fun on your ladders game. Wookie out. Did I say good luck on your ladders game? I mean good luck on your ladder games, of course, but yeah.